So today we're going to be drafting a basic bodice, and these are the measurements we'll be using. So we are also going to need our measuring tape, pattern master, and marker. So for every pattern drafting, we should begin with a straight line. So it's called the starting line. So for this top, this line is going to serve as our shoulder line. So I'm going to place my measuring tape on this line. So I'm going to take my measuring tape from my shoulder down to my bust is 10 inches. Then down to the under bust is 13 inches. Down to my waist is 16 inches. Down to the length of this top is 23 inches. So I'm going to do the same for the other side for this place, so I can get a straight line. You can choose to draw your line with the first dot, but this will help you get an accurate or a more accurate line. Okay, then connect these points with a straight line. You can use a straight ruler. You can use your pattern master or a ruler. Connect with these dots, or connect these dots just the way you see me doing. Okay, and this is the length of our top. Now label your lines. The reason why we're labeling our lines is so we don't get it mixed up. This is my bust point, my under bust, my waist, and the length of, let me adjust this. Okay, and the length of the top, which I use HL, that is hemline. Then divide your shoulder. My shoulder is 15 divided by 2 is going to give me 7.5. Then mark it there. Then from that point, come down by 1 inch. The reason why we're coming down by 1 inch is because our shoulder is slope. Is how will I explain it? It's not straight. So now I'm going to put my neckline, the width as 3 inches, then the depth as 3 inches, because we're working on the front pattern first. So now I'm going to use my curve. You can use a curve. I'm going to use my curve master to connect this, so you can have a very good or nice neckline. Now that 1 point we came down by, you connect it to the neckline just the way you see me doing. Now after doing that, we have to work on our armhole depth. So now to get your armhole depth is to get your round armhole measurement divided by 2, or divide your round bust by 6, then add 1.5 inches or 1.5 inch to get it. So make sure it's the exact thing you have. Place it down there, then connect with a straight line. Then extend this line the way you see me doing. This is going to serve as our chest line, CH as our chest line. Now our armhole is not straight, it has some curve. So we're going to take the mid, or the half of this, the way you see me doing, then mark it, get the midpoint of it, then come in towards the center by 0.5 inch. What we're doing here is to get that curve. Okay, so now I'm going to connect this upper side from the shoulder down to that point with a straight line. Just see the way I'm doing. Connect to a straight line. Then on the chest line, I'm going to divide my round bust measurement divided by 4 and put it, which is 9 inches. Then connect this point onto that point. So we'll just put down here with a curve, the way you see me doing, like this. If you're using a curve rule, it will be more straightforward. Okay, so now we're going to work on our dart. To get your dart, the dart is going to begin from the bust point down to the hemline. Is my nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2, which is 3.5. I'm going to place that from the bust point down to the hem length or hemline, whichever one. Okay, just what I'm doing. Your own might be bigger than mine. Your own might be 4.5, whichever the case, or whatever the case may be. So just connect this with a straight line. Now come to your waist region, you can choose to go in and out, that is on the left and on the right, by 0.5 inches, but I'm going to use 0.75 inch. You can use either 0.5, 0.575 inch, depending on how busty you are. Some even go as much as 1 inch. Now, put down your point, come from that hemline, come up by 2 inches, then connect this the way you see me demonstrating. Connect this. Connect this the way you see me doing. Then connect this part down to that 2.2 inches that came up. Okay. And this is what your dart, or how your dart should look like. Okay. Now you see start our measurement, our round measurement. So now, earlier we divided our bust measurement by 4, which gave us 9 inches, which we're going to use for our bust point. Then our waist measurement is 7.25. Then I'm going to measure my dart, which is 1.5 inch. If you don't put this, your dart, like replace it, your cloth is going to be too tiny. It will not be your exact size. So now if you notice, there's no dart on the hemline, it's just a straight line. So mark your round hip measurement divided by 4 on that point, then connect these points. So if you're confused, please go through the video again so you can get clarified. So connect this. All right. Now, this is what your front pattern should look like. So if you did everything correctly, this is what it should look like. All right. So now I'm going to come to this point and mark the dart. Now, this is just the difference between the front waistline and from the back waistline, because if you take your measurement, you'll discover that the back waistline is shorter than that of the front waistline. Mine is 2 inches short, yours might be 1.5 inches short, so make sure you place it. So now it's time to cut our front pattern. If you're confused, please ask questions. I will be more than willing to answer you. So now it's time for us to cut our front pattern. Start from the neckline. Make sure you cut on that line. Please don't cut a bit maybe smaller or more than or outside the line. Hope you get what I'm trying to say. So in this arm curve, I'm going to follow that curve, that armhole depth. I'm going to follow the curve I created. I'm taking this slowly so you understand what I'm doing here. Then cut all the way down to the length of the top. Now mind you, this bodice, I inserted no allowance. So when you're cutting on your fabric, please do add allowance, at least a minimum of 1 inch to maybe 2.5 inches, as the case may be. And this is what your front pattern should look like. Now it's time for us to cut our back pattern. So if you're confused about what I've been done so far, please rewatch this video, and of course I'm always available for questions. All right. So in drafting this pattern, I omitted the zipper allowance, and for your back pattern, a zipper allowance is very important, except you're trying to do a corset and you want to connect that with loops. But if you want a zip on your top or your dress, you need a zipper allowance. So go in by 2 inches, connect that with a straight line from the top down. Then your measurement is going to begin from the new line. Your vertical measurement and horizontal measurement is going to begin from that new line. Please, I omitted that and I wanted to make it clear. Okay, so I went ahead to put down my measurements. So now I'm going to go in by 3.5 inches, which is my nipple to nipple measurement. So now if you notice, this is the back pattern. So we're starting our dart intake from the chest line. But if you notice in the front pattern, we started from our bust line. So that is one of the differences with the back pattern, between the back pattern and the front pattern. So the first difference is the zipper allowance. The second is where your dart begins. Then the third is your armhole. I'm going to get to that later. So now, just as we did, we came up from our hip line by 2 inches. Then we're connecting this. We went out by 0.75 inch, but you might decide to go by 0.5 inch on both sides, depending on what you want or depending on the client you're working on. All right, so connect this, and there you have it. Our dart is ready. So now let's work on our armhole. Unlike the front pattern, we came in by 0.5 inch before connecting the armhole, but this is our back pattern and you can see the difference. We didn't come in by 0.5 inch. So now let's place our measurement. Now this is our waist measurement. Replace your dart, please. If you do not replace your dart, your cloth is going to come out very small. All right, so then put your allowance, add your allowance. You can go add your allowance of 1.5, 2 inches or thereabouts, whatever you're working with. Then our round hip measurement divided by 4. Then you connect these lines or these dots to have our basic pattern for the back. So connect this point. Okay, now this is our back pattern. So now if I have added the zipper allowance to this, I'm going to cut from the zipper allowance, but I'm going to leave another video explaining the zipper allowance and how to reduce zipper bulging. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. That part where you see some dresses, the zipper area looks as if it doesn't fit properly. I'm going to upload another video so you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so go ahead and cut your back pattern. Cut it. Be careful. Follow the curves or the curve on the armhole. Okay, so now this is what your back pattern should look like. So let me place our back pattern and front pattern side by side. You see what we have here. So now this dart here, so let me label this front. This dart we have over here. When you cut out the dart, you will see that your front pattern and your back pattern will be the same length. You can see. Okay, so this is what you should have after drafting your front and back pattern. Thank you for watching. Until next time, bye.